Hi everybody and welcome back to retrogamergenx's Retro Gaming and Computing channel. In today's episode we're going to do a review of a really cool product that I'm going to show you guys here, and that is the Backbit Chip Tester Pro. And what this thing does is it tests all your ICs and all your old video game consoles, your old computers and stuff like that. It's really a must-have for anybody that's into this retro gaming and computing hobby. If you want to save a lot of money and do basically your repairs by yourself, this is a tool that comes in super handy. So we're going to be reviewing this today. We're also going to be taking a look at a few chips that I have here. Some are good, some are bad. So we're going to test those out to see if it actually does fail the bad ones as well, just to kind of see if it actually works the way it's supposed to. We're going to do a firmware update as well, just kind of show how the firmware is updated on this thing. And lastly, the ANTIC chip that I took out of my XEGS. If you guys haven't seen that video, check out, I think it's up on this side, check out that link up there to the XEGS repair video. It basically shows what this ANTIC chip was doing. Really rare fault that it was having, and even the people at Atari age were kind of stumped that it was doing this. So I wouldn't be surprised if this device doesn't pick up the failure, because the ANTIC chip itself worked somewhat. So it wasn't a total failure, so definitely check out that video above so you guys can see what it was doing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to the bench and test this thing out. So guys, we're going to go ahead and start with the firmware update here. So to update the firmware, basically we're going to go to backbit.io, which is the Backbit website here. We're going to go to downloads, we're going to go to firmware, and we're going to go to chip tester, and then we're going to go ahead and download the newest version of the firmware here, which would be 3.75. I'm going to go ahead and download that. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to open it up, as you guys can see here, and we're going to copy this file. And then we're going to paste it into the root of this SD card that I have here. Now this has a whole bunch of ROMs on it stuff. This is like my little backup for the Backbit cartridge. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it in here. And as you can see, it has that CT Pro upgrade right there. So it's on here. So let's go ahead and go over to the actual chip tester now and go ahead and do the firmware update. Okay guys, so here is the Chip Tester Pro version 2. Now this is the same person that makes the Backbit flash cartridge, is the same person that makes this, is Evie. And it comes with this and a nice little USB cable, and this is how it's actually powered here. So you just stick it into the USB slot here, just like so. And let me get that SD card. All right, and then we want to go ahead and stick the SD card in to the SD card slot, just like so. And we're going to go ahead and plug in the Chip Tester Pro here, and it should do the, and it did. It upgraded the firmware to the 3.75 there, as you guys can see. So let's go ahead and test some chips here. Let me get some chips out of here. So we have a SN74S08N. We have two of those chips. Now I know one is bad and one is good. Then we have a hex driver as well that we're going to go ahead and check, and then we'll do the ANTIC chip here too. So let's go ahead and get these tested here. So we'll start with these SN74LS08 chips. So pin 1 is right here, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and stick that into pin 1. Close that up with the zip connector. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and kind of scroll through here. So this is LS chips. I'm going to say, yep, that's what we want to do. And 08, which is what we're at right now. So this is the AND gate. So we're going to go ahead and say, yep, we want that one. Confirm that it's the 14 DIP 14, and it is. Let's go ahead and test this bad boy. Hit the little test button right here. And that one passed. So this is the good one. So let me go ahead and get this other one put in real quick. All right, so let's go ahead and test this one. I got it put in now. The pins were a little bent, so same test here. We're gonna go ahead and set yes, and then test, and this should be the bad one. And it is. So if you look at it, it says pass, pass, fail, pass. So this thing has 4 different AND gates on it. And essentially it looks like this one, and this one over here is fine, but the one over on this side is the bad one, which I already knew that. So that is the case. So it did pick up the bad chip here. Now, let's go ahead and try another chip here. Now this is a hex driver. All right, so I got that one in here, and I got to get the chip number because this is kind of a weird chip number here. I got actually a brand new one here. And we're gonna see what this chip number was. It was the DS75494. Okay, so this is in the preliminary. Right here. And then we should have DS75. DS75494. So she did go ahead and put this in here. Let's go ahead and test this one. This one I know is bad. What I did, guys, is buy like a lot of 27 Simons for a whole $35. And none of them work, and a lot of the time it's this hex driver chip that's bad, and this is one that I know is bad. So let's go ahead and see if it does fail the test here. Oops, might help if we did that. Yeah, failed right away. All right, let's go ahead and take that one out, and let's go ahead and put the brand new one in, and we'll see if that one actually works for us. And that one passed, so that one is good. So definitely is picking up the bad chip as opposed to the good chip, so definitely is good to go, guys. I'm happy about that. Let me go ahead and get this put back in. So I have several of these chips to try to fix those Simons, but I'm kind of worried that the chips that I bought were not exactly the chips they were supposed to be, so I'll be testing right around 30 chips just to make sure, and if not, I will be getting back with that seller and saying, hey, these are all counterfeit chips, because I did the whole acetone test on the top of them, and yeah, all the letters and numbers kind of disappeared off of them, so that is not a good sign, and I'm thinking that those are all counterfeit. But I'm not going to bore you guys with testing a whole bunch of counterfeit chips here, so so now the next biggest one we're going to do here is the ANTIC chip. Now this is the ANTIC that came out of my XEGS, and if you guys didn't know, pin 4 here, the LP or light pin register, is the one that is hosed. So basically every time you hit the button on the joystick, it would just glitch out all the graphics on the screen. So we're going to go ahead and test this chip here and see if it comes up good or bad, and I guarantee you it'll actually pass in this thing. Now, the other test that you can do in here, and I'll show you, is in-circuit testing. So you can use a chip clip. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those, but they're little clips that go over the chips in circuit. And then you have jumpers that would go to the pins on this. And then you can test the chip in circuit, which actually gives it a better test than it does just a single test like this. So just so you guys know that. So like here you got the burn-in test, the normal test, the in-circuit test. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Same deal here. So now let's go ahead and get to the ANTIC chip here. So we're going to go ahead and hit this. And let's see. Atari specific chips. So TIA, PAL, Pokey, ANTIC. And this is not the right ANTIC. This is the actual CO21697 ANTIC. So we got to find that one. Alright guys, sorry about that. My light just kind of died on me. So hopefully you guys can kind of see what's going on. Let me try to see if I can dim this light down a little bit. That is... Actually, you know what? We're just going to keep it off. That way you guys can see the actual display screen here. So I got it selected, the 21697 ANTIC chip. Let's go ahead and hit test. Oh wait, we gotta select the chip first. And hit test. And yeah, it passed. And that's what I was kind of thinking it was gonna do, because this thing has such a weird fault. And I actually got with Eevee before this, because honestly, I did test this chip off camera beforehand. These ones here I didn't, but this one I did because I just wanted to kind of see, and I knew it would pass. And I got with Eevee, and she said basically that it is just such a weird problem. What she does is test the functionality of the chip, and she does test the light pin register. So obviously it is working. So it goes high and low. So if it's high, then the button's not pressed. If it goes low, the button is pressed, and it does register those button presses. Oh, now the light kicks back on. Lovely. But anyway, it registers those light presses like it should, but something internally got shorted out, ESD discharge, something happened within this chip. And as long as you hold this pin up to the 5 volts, you know, have it high, it actually works perfectly normal, no problem. So definitely a weird issue, and I'm not too sure because I can't test it in circuit inside of the computer because I don't have the chip clip or the little jumper wires or anything. Eventually I'll end up getting those, but yeah. So basically I have a whole bunch of other chips I could test here, but I'm not really going to go all into it here, guys. But yeah, this is a really cool product. If you're into this hobby, like I said, these machines are going to break down on you, unfortunately, and instead of paying out a whole bunch of money for somebody to repair this at a repair shop, that honestly they might not be too acclimated with dealing with these old school electronics when they're dealing more with LCD TVs and cell phones and stuff like that to fix. But they're going to charge you up the yin-yang to try to fix your Commodore, your Amiga, or your Atari 8-bit, or your Sega Genesis, or any of that kind of stuff. So being able to do your own repairs definitely saves you some money in this hobby. If you guys are interested in this product, this is the Chip Tester Pro by Backbit. And you can go to the Backbit.io website and go ahead and order it. Now, I did want to bring this up as well. Now, there's other chip testers on the market, and they range from being really cheap, like the Chinese ones you can order off of AliExpress, to I think it's the Chip Tester or something, the Retro Chip Tester, and I believe that's like around $400 for it. Now that one does support a lot more chips than this, but this one is gaining support by chips by the day. Like that hex driver or that display driver chip for the Simons. I put that in there for Eevee, and the next day she had it put into the firmware and did a firmware update. And that's why I had to update my firmware on this to be able to get that chip test. So just like the Backbit cartridge, if you have a problem loading a game, with this, if you have some chips that are not on the list to be tested, just let Eevee know and send her the data sheet, and she'll go ahead and get that put in so that it can be tested. So really, it really comes down to what kind of money you guys want to spend. Now this product here is $200 on the website. You guys might be thinking, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But just think about the technology that goes into this and how much money this is going to save you and how much time this is going to save you diagnosing issues. Because before, I would break out my scope and test every address line and everything on these chips, and that's how I found out what the fault was on the ANTIC. But that's time consuming when you can actually just put a chip in, and especially with those LS Logic chips, put it in, boom, it fails, and you're like, oh well, let me just replace that chip. It just saves you so much more time, guys. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. If you like the content, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you get notifications every time I drop new content like this. And also, if you want to help support the channel, don't forget to hit that super heart down below to go ahead and support this. But I just wanted to say thanks again to you guys, and peace out, y'all.
Game over, man. It's game over.